Hey everybody, I'm AdamHarry from BoLS, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Blood Bowl second season edition box. This is the brand new starter box for Blood Bowl. It has two brand new teams, bunch of new rules, fancy new book. It's really cool. It's got that fancy silver lettering on there too. It's kind of nice. Yeah, Black Orcs, Imperial Nobles. It's got some new refs in here too, which is kind of neat. New pitch. Well, I think it's the same pitch, but a new pitch board, let's say. Measuring device to see, you know, for ranges for throwing and stuff like that. Everything you need to play the game of Blood Bowl. It is a double-sided pitch with double-sided dugouts as well, by the way, just FYI. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So, if you're a fan of Blood Bowl, this is the new season. Let's dive in. Alright, I did take the plastic wrap off this already, but I have not opened it up. So this is my first time going in the box as well. Here we go. Alright, what do we got? Obviously we have sprues. So it looks like we've got the two different teams. I'm going to go ahead and pull what I think are all the orc bits first, and we'll set these to the side for now. It's kind of hard to see with the stuff underneath them, but looks like a couple of sprues of orcs, black orcs specifically. And they are color coded, so your eyes do not deceive you. It is color coded for dark green for the black orcs, obviously red for the Imperial Nobles. These are not the regular humans from the old box set. We also have the referees, which come in a blue, so we'll go over those in a moment. And then your throwing ranges. That's pretty cool. We'll take a look at that sprue as well. And then obviously we got the little Blood Bowl second season art thing that also helps protect the books and stuff. And you see all the teams in here. That's a lot of teams these days. So Blood Bowl has expanded quite a bit. I mean, GW has been adding a team a quarter almost for, gosh, since they relaunched Blood Bowl. So quite a few teams, and yeah, I'm excited about this. We have our bases. Got to have those. Enough for both teams, I'm presuming. We got our dice. These look like the Black Orc dice because they're green. And then human dice because they're red. I guess you could really swap them up. Kind of depends on your paint team, right? We have the hardback official rules. That's cool. It's got a quick reference thing on here. We'll open that up as well and take a look. We've got the pitch, the boards, the dugouts, all that fun stuff in here. We'll, of course, go through that. And then assembly instructions. You got to have these. And some water slide transfers for your teams. So that is everything in the box. Alright, we're going to kick this off with the Black Orc sprues. Now, this sprue right here, this set, is actually two copies. So I'm going to move this one so we can see the rest. But I just want to show you do get two of those. That's for the basic Black Orcs. I believe you can build, I want to say 3 Black Orcs out of that sprue with some extra goblins that are the hard-nosed goblins. What are they called? Goblin Bruisers, I think, for Black Orcs. Yeah. And you might be noticing some extra sprues on the side here. So we've got the Trained Troll that you can also include in the roster. It's a 0-1 choice. And then we also have the special character for the Black Orcs, Varug Ghoul Chewer. So that's this bit right here. He's a big dude. It's a very cool looking model. So that's your second. I don't know if he's a big guy or not. I don't know if you consider him a big guy, but he's the other big slab of green beef, as it were. So let's take a look at the main sprue for a moment here. I'm going to zoom in on it. And you can see here, tons of details. You get your coin. There's actually 2 coins because you get the second sprue as well. But the Black Orcs are just fantastic models. If you remember the other Orc team, it's like them, but bigger and beefier because these are Black Orcs. They're tougher and meaner, and I mean, yeah, I don't know. They're cool, man. So I'm pretty pumped about that. And yeah, so I'm actually thinking about swiping these and building them myself. So we might be having a Black Orc throwdown here in a moment. Next up, I'm going to show off the Trained Troll. So you may recognize these bits from the previous Troll incarnation. I think they're the same, if my memory serves me correctly, but they are now in the green plastic, dyed plastic for you as well. So I just flipped these bits over. They are super detailed, as you can see. It's a great little kit. So, and adding that to your Blood Bowl team is always a plus in my opinion. So there you go. And then we've got the Ghoul Chewer here. His bits, again, you can see he's a very, very large orc, and he means business. He's got some really cool things. I'll show this picture off real fast from the instructions, but that's what he's going to end up looking like. So, good times. And you can see there's all the extras for that. So, there you have it. Let's take a look at the humans. All right, here is the Imperial Noble team, is the proper term for them. You do also get 2 sprues for the base team there, so you can build quite a few members of the team. You also get an ogre, which is always good to have. Everybody loves having an ogre on the team if you can take one. And then the star player Griff overall there, so that's cool. Just a single sprue there. Don't let the single sprue fool you though. Griff Oberwald, I think it's Oberwald, is pretty great to have on your team. A little pricey, but I mean he's worth it. He's a star player, right? Plus your Imperial Nobles, so you can probably afford it. Let's take a closer look. This is I would say fancier. Yeah, I would say fancier than the other human team. There's some extras in there. They have wings and griffins and stuff like that. So these are Imperial Nobles. They have slightly different stats. They have a couple of new types of players. I believe they have a bodyguard, for example. They have a slightly different lineman. They also have different nobility, things like that. So a couple of cool new players to play around with for a different take on the human team. So there you have it. Next up, let's take a look at Griff. Been around in the game for a while, I believe. Not exactly a new star player, but we do have a new model here for him, so pretty cool looking. Yeah, a lot of bits. I'm kind of surprised, but I guess I shouldn't be. It's tightly packed on that sprue. You know, back in the day, that would have been a metal thing, so that would have been 1 metal blister for Griff, but there you have it. And then the Ogre. I always love the Ogres. Man, the Ogre team is one of those teams that, I don't know, give them clubs and they'd be perfect for Age of Sigmar or any other game, really, for some big old ogres on the pitch there. But there you have it. Again, always great to have an ogre on your team. Speaking of teams, let's talk about referees. I don't know about that segue, but there you go. These are the 2 new refs that you can have on the pitch there for you. I'm curious about the new rules, if they're going to have more of an impact. If you know, they're just there for funsies, for looks. They're pretty cool. You get an elf and a Doradin, or dwarf, I guess. They're still dwarves in Blood Bowl, because it's weird alternate fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy. But whatever. It's cool. 2 cool looking referee models. Nice little extras. I always like the little side things you have in a game universe, because it just adds more to the universe and it kind of draws you in more. So 2 refs. There you have them. This funky thing is actually for measuring your throwing distance. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the ranges there. You got your little scatter counter thing here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think for pushing, and then your scatter 8-sided chaos star for that as well. So just the flip side. It's a handy sprue to have for determining range for throws and stuff like that. Real quick, the instructions pretty straightforward because there's a lot of repeating. But there you have one set for Ghoul Chewer, the Ogre. Then you flip it inside. You've got your Imperial Nobility team there, all ready to go. You've got your Black Orc team down below as well. And then you flip it over, and you've got Griff up top here, and then your 2 train trolls, and then your 2 refs. So, cool instructions. Gotta have those. Next up, cardboard. So we've got the 2 dugouts. These are actually 2 separate things. You can flip them over. You've got 2 different boards to match whatever pitch you're opting to play on. So 2 dugouts, and then we get to the board. This is a big old Blood Bowl board. Flipping this over, I guess we're looking at the dark side first. So yeah, pretty cool looking board. This is like stone, so I'm guessing it's supposed to be for the maybe for the orcs. I'm not sure, but you can kind of see. I'll try to pan around here a little bit. You can kind of see they got the little grates on the board, little blood splatters here, mushrooms or whatever growing out. Armor, I think. Not mushrooms. There's some beer bottles and stuff. Or excuse me, adult beverage bottles. I don't know. But you've got your 2 end zones. You got a red end zone, and then over here you've got the blue end zone as well. So, but yeah, pretty neat. Just basically inverted versions of that. It's also got the line scrimmage, or not the scrimmage line, sidelines for you on the side, and then off the board is out of bounds. You can't move there. Come on, man. And then flipping it over, boom. More of the same. This is the grass pitch. I guess it's softer if you get tackled on. I mean, it would be, right? It's grass. Still got some trap doors on there. There's one up top down there. There's another one on this side as well. Blue and both end zones are actually red this time, so that's red over there. Flipping around, more red over here. It's got the cool Blood Bowl emblem in the center. So, yeah, cool board. Now we get into the rules. These are the official Blood Bowl rules for Season 2. You got to memorize these and pass a test before you can... I'm just kidding. You don't have to do any of that. Just dive right in. Before we dive in, I want to show off the cheat sheet. Because Blood Bowl cheating is actually a game mechanic. So here's the cheat sheet. It's got your post-game sequence here. It's got the turnovers and that. There's actually 2 cheat sheets. So one for each player, ideally. So I'm going to move this to the side so I can look at it. But you've got your post-game sequence up top. You've got your turnover rules there in the middle. The weather result table. It's got your sequence of play breakdown. So all of that fun stuff that you need. You open it on up. You've got your kickoff events. You've got player activation options. All that fun stuff between throwing your teammates. What happens when you do a foul? Special actions. You get the idea. Pass actions. Throw teammate actions. You want, if you're playing with a troll, it's your goal every game to throw one of your goblin bruisers with the ball. That's the important part. With the ball. Throw them into the end zone. Okay? Block action, strength, all that fun stuff, how it all works, how to read the die that are cast in this game. And then, of course, your injury charts, because they do happen quite a bit. Armor rolls, all that stuff. If the crowd gets you, casualty tables, lasting injury tables. And then a basic breakdown of the stats. And actually, what's interesting for this, there's actually one for each team. So if you look here closely, this one is the Black Orcs. If you're playing Black Orcs, use this one. If you're playing the Imperial Retainer, or excuse me, Imperial Nobles, you can use that one. So there you go. You've got 2 different cheat sheets, and actually, if you look in the corner on the front, it'll tell you which team you're playing for. There you go. Cheat sheets. Nice. Moving on. And I bet you, actually, now that I think about it, does this have throw teammate options on here? Yeah. Okay. So most of the stuff inside is the same. So that's good. It's just got a slight cheat sheet for the rosters. That's the word I was trying to say. Hardback rules. It is a nice hardback rule book here. I wonder how many pages are we looking at here. So flipping it open. 137-ish, 38 pages if you count that little sheet there, but whatever. What's in this book? Let's find out. Hey, human team there. Greetings, sport fans. All right, contents. Here's what I wanted to see. This book is a much larger version than I remember for the other rule books, but it's got some history of the Blood Bowl League, worldwide sports wide world. Little thing there. Blood Bowl Stadia, it's got all that stuff, etc., etc. Rules and regulations. There's about 10 pages, 15 pages-ish of rules for the core game here. But then we get into, that's just like general rules here. Then we get into actual game mechanical rules. So there's about, I said 15 pages. It's more like 40, 50 pages-ish. Well, if you count the post-game sequence and all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty detailed, but it's actually way less complicated. There's probably a lot of empty space. But I want to get into here. It's got your skills and traits, stuff like that. League and exhibition play. I think Blood Bowl works best if you play in a league. So that's my advice. My recommendation is to if you're gonna play Blood Bowl, play with some friends. Hopefully you have at least 4 people that you can rotate that you're playing against in a league. On up from however many players you want to have. So then we get into the teams, and this book actually has a lot of the new team stuff. So we're going to skip around a little bit here. We're not going to go page by page, obviously, but it does kind of go over the background, how the game has evolved in terms of like lore-wise, not just not just the history of the real-world Blood Bowl, but the history of Blood Bowl in game. So pretty cool stuff there. All your rules, goes over all the stuff that we just literally went over here. And then general stuff, moving on. And again, very, very cool looking, full color plates here. Looks really pretty. Pretty easy to lay out and stuff like that. Everything's explained fairly well too. It seems like GW has adopted this kind of like bullet point system for the rules. So, you know, here's the base rule here, but then read the modifiers or read the bullet points for any clarifications that you might need, etc. Going on from there. So, a lot of rules. There's a lot to go over here, but it's really not that bad. Secret weapons, etc., etc. Hiring team members, recruiting them, I guess. Special rules, special skills. There's quite a few, but I mean, not every team's gonna have access to all the skills, but they're all in the core book because that's where they should be. And then we get into some new rules. All right. There's also some new regional rules, like where your team comes from can have some impact on things, and yeah. So they did actually update the core rules. They tweaked some things based on player feedback and testing and things like that. They rebalanced the teams. Excuse me. They rebalanced quite a few of the teams. Either their costs tweaked a little bit or stats changed, things like that. What I wanted to show off was the team stats I was trying to get to. So we have the Black Orc teams, we have the Chaos Chosen team. I want to focus on the Black Orc team real fast because they're a newer team. But if you look at their stat block first off, you might notice, if you're an older player, you might notice a new stat. Excuse me. You have the PA stat, which stands for passing ability. They have pulled passing ability away from agility. Those two things used to be the same kind of a check. So if you had a super agile team, you were probably really good at passing. If you had a not so agile team, you probably just tried to ground pound the football into the end zone every time because you couldn't really pass. You didn't have good ball handling skills. Passing ability is now different from agility, so you can have more granularity in your team choices. And if you're building a specific player to do a specific thing, like you have a character that's going to be throwing the ball a lot, you know, you can work on that. Even if he's got a crappy agility, they can still throw the ball really well for passing ability. So that's kind of neat. Helps differentiate things. You might also notice, if you're a veteran player, the numbers have changed and are now target numbers instead of a basic stat number. So, for example, here, a Goblin Bruiser Lineman, movement 6, strength 2, agility 3+. So you're taking an agility test. Your basic thing is a 3+. Then you'll add any modifiers for or against that. Passing is a 4+, and your armor value is an 8+. So those things have changed quite a bit. There's also a new thing here, the tier rating. So all of the teams now have a tier rating. This one is the Black Orcs are a tier 2 team. 1 being the best, 2 being in the middle, and 3 being not so great. Those are your halfling teams, your goblin teams, pure goblin teams. Don't let that discourage you. It's basically like how well can this team compensate for player inexperience or making a mistake to the game. Can they recover, things like that. The tier 1 teams are really forgiving, I would say. Not necessarily easy, but they are forgiving. They maybe might be tougher than others, or they might be just able to get away with checks that maybe shouldn't be passed by other teams, things like that. Versus a tier 3 team, if you want a challenge, bust out a tier 3 team like the old halfling team, like the old halflings up here. If you want to play for real, if you can win, with a tier 3 team, I don't want to play you because you probably wreck me, but maybe I'll learn something. Maybe we should play. Anyway, just wanted to show that off. It's kind of some of the new changes for the stat line. Anyway, moving on from there, it's got a ton of teams in this book. I believe every single team that you could get on this sheet is now accounted for in here. GW has also put out on a different thing rules for the old teams, so like Norse teams, Amazon teams, things like that. Those aren't in here, I believe, but those teams are available online from GW officially. So there you go. Lizardman, tier 1 team. Necromantic, horror teams, tier 2 team, things like that. So just give you an idea. Player difficulty. Orc teams are tier 1. I always knew they were pretty solid. Old World Alliance team, Nurgle team, things like that. Quite a few teams, as you can see. Great times, and they've been updated. I'm not going to go, obviously not going to go through the stats. This would be a lot. But one other thing I want to mention too is star players have also been updated across the board. They all now have a unique special rule that is given to the star player to make them you know, unique and special and worth the price of admission because they cost a lot to recruit sometimes. So yeah, you've got unique special rules for each star player. They've been reworked and points adjusted as such, but most of those are from Forge World for the most part. So anyway, there you have it. There's the index in the back, and yeah, hardback rulebook. Good times. Well, there you have it. That is the Blood Bowl 2nd edition box. Everything you'll get inside. It is a fantastic looking revamp of the Blood Bowl. I can't wait to throw down on this one. I kind of leaning towards that Black Orc team, but we do have here in the studio, I mean, we've got a bunch of other teams already assembled, so I don't know if I want to spend my weekend building or not. I probably will, let's be honest. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. I'm AdamHarry from BoLS. See you on the pitch. Click to subscribe. Check out more videos. And thanks for watching.